Welcome to the Northwest Tank Line Super Bowl show, coming to you from Radio Row, Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas, site of Super Bowl LVIII, featuring the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. Our next guest is a legend that we were lucky enough to talk to in San Francisco a few years back, a man who doesn't need an introduction. Dan Marino.
Thank you. Yeah,
Dan, nice to have you on board again.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
That was for the Super Bowl out there, the San Francisco one, right?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, for sure.
That was great. And by the way, you brought us M&Ms, man. I love your style.
Yeah.
Like
M&Ms,
this could sustain us for like about a week.
Yes, just only eat one at a time then. I'll get you more if you need them. We can get you more, man. Yeah, so we did a commercial. I did a commercial with M&Ms, and it's about almost champions, and that they made a ring to provide comfort for the guys that have not won championships, and it's kind of cute. It's a funny thing, and Bruce Smith's in it, Terrell Owens, and a special guest, Scarlett Johansson. So she gets a ring too.
Yeah, well, if she's getting a ring, I'd probably drop down on one knee, but that's just me personally.
Yeah, I got you. I could see that.
How much fun was it?
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We did it, and we did it in New York, and those guys. Well, I know Bruce really well, and T.O., and Scarlett was outstanding. She was all into it and had a lot of fun with it, and basically we're just making fun of the fact that we didn't win a ring, but now we're getting a ring from M&Ms.
There you go. You know, people bring that up all the time with the career and all that, and I think it's so unfair because it's a team sport. Yet at the same time, I think about what Bill Buckner went through and how the Boston Red Sox fans kind of forgave him, and after a while they looked at that body of work and said, this guy's a great player, right?
Yeah,
I think, are we kind of at the stage, too, now where people look at your career and say, hey, this guy was an outstanding player regardless of the ring thing?
Yeah. To me, what I did in my career stands on its own. I don't have to worry about what other people think about it as far as that's concerned. As far as winning a Super Bowl ring, that's the one thing I wanted to win. I mean, as much as anybody, I wanted to know what that felt like, and it just didn't work out. I feel good about what I accomplished in my career, believe me.
Of course.
Yeah.
What's keeping Dan Marino busy these days?
You know what? I got 4 grandkids. That kind of thing. Doing some family stuff. Doing a little bit with the team here and there. And then doing these corporate stuff that we're doing here for M&Ms today. And here's the one cool thing, too, is M&Ms, if you're here in town, you can go to the store in Vegas, their store, and actually see the ring.
Really?
Yes. So
how much
for everybody's out there who's listening, I don't know. I don't know how much it's worth. How much is a bag worth?
We'll find out.
No, just joking. They never told me how much it's worth, but there are real diamonds in it, so whatever that means.
You look at this game and you look at the quarterbacks that are in it. I mean, everyone's talking about Mahomes and Purdy and, how great Mahomes is and whether or not Purdy's going to be able to be the guy to take the 49ers to the promised land. You played the position in the National Football League. I mean, let's talk about Mahomes first. What do you admire about his game?
Well, his resilience and competitiveness to win games, to come from behind and to play, with adversity, and then with that mental attitude, his ability, just God-given ability to throw the football is as good as anybody is throwing the ball in the NFL. So he can, he could do all those things, and he's won before. He's got a lot of confidence, so they're going to be hard to beat.
The one thing about Mahomes, and I've always thought about this, is he going to revolutionize the position? And what I mean now, like maybe 10 years, 20 years from now, you're going to see kids that are going to be so adept at throwing from different slot angles all the time, like we see with Patrick. Because imagine when you first saw this guy throw some football at some of those angles, you're going, like, what?
Yeah. I mean, I did some of that. Me personally, not as much because I wasn't running around as much.
Yeah.
And that's where he gets his, where he could throw those, balls off angle and throwing them behind his back, throwing them, across his body. So, you didn't see that. You're seeing that more now and probably into the future. He was a baseball player too. He played shortstop, so that's all part of it. I played baseball. That's what you learn from that. So he's a pretty special player.
What's your assessment of Brock Purdy?
I'm pumped up for him because, being the last guy drafted, starting quarterback in the Super Bowl, it's a great story. I'd like to see him win, actually. I would, because Mahomes already won a few. Let's get the young kid in there, and the other thing, I got sent a note that he actually his dad grew up like a Marino fan.
Oh, wow.
And they watch film, and that's why he wears 13. So all that stuff going
that's
on.
Awesome.
Yeah. So he can get his real ring, and I'll get my M&M's comfort ring.
Hey, you got the ring. I got the M&M's. I'm just happy we got these two bags here.
Baby, you're right.
Hey, when you look at Purdy, is there part of you that just would like to see him win just to silence all the doubters? Because that's all we hear is the buts with Brock Purdy.
That's what media is. Like, media does that all the time.
Yeah.
That's part of the job. You bring the questions out there. Yeah, but he's in the Super Bowl and he's playing, and he's brought a team there that's a very good team, and he's part of that. And he, you know what? The one thing I would just say is for him just to understand how important it is to try to take advantage of this opportunity, because you might not get it again, even if you're young like him.
Yeah, there's a guy by the name of Montana who's become a good friend of ours.
Yeah, Joe.
Joe's going to be floating around a few times here at Radio Row probably the next couple of days. We always manage to get Joe for a few minutes. And one of the things we talked about once was, man, he goes, if I could play with today's rules. I said, well, how would you do with today's rules? And he just shakes his head, right?
Yeah.
Think about the fact that the rules are different, that opens up for the passing game, and the fact that you're so protected. Man, I've gone back and watched some stuff on YouTube. You guys in the 80s?
Yeah,
like every time you're getting slammed to the turf, and it's ridiculous.
Stuff the rules are different.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's just, but it's the way the game's evolved. So it's like that's what the rules are.
Yeah.
Now, but definitely, I probably could have played longer if the rules were different.
Well, the other thing too is I would have hated to see some of the yardage numbers you guys would have put up.
Yeah, for sure. We don't have to prove it, so we could just say anything now.
Yeah.
And I threw for 6,000.
Do you think sometimes that, and for a guy that paid the price, as did Joe, do you think sometimes it's gone way too much? Because sometimes we see those roughing the quarterback penalties that, man, come on, it's football.
There's some of them aren't. There's some of them aren't. They're questionable, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But I do see the importance of it, because you want your star quarterbacks, you want them in the game, you want them playing, because that's what the franchise relies on, the team relies on them, the community, everything. So I can understand why the rules have changed to help them health-wise.
Last one before we let you go, a couple more before we let you go. First off, quarterbacks today, I don't know how much you watch the NFL, but there's anybody that you really admire or kind of enjoy watching their game?
Lamar Jackson is pretty special as far as what he can do with and Mahomes and all those guys, and even then you look differently. Our guy Tua I think has had an incredible year, and he just at the end of the year we weren't that healthy, and I think it really hurt us. And it's not an excuse, but is an excuse. So.
What do you think about the evolution of the position? Because now you're seeing so many much more mobile quarterbacks, guys. We talked about Mahomes' different arm angles and all that. Just your thoughts on the evolution.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is getting to be a position where it's better if you can make plays as far as outside the pocket and off-schedule plays. But also you still got to win from the pocket too, because they could take you out of that game if they want to, defensive coordinators. But as far as just the overall concept of throwing the ball, now they throw the ball sideways a lot, throwing those quick screens and the RPOs, and that really wasn't even in our offense at all. It was all about throwing down the field and high-low stretch and things like that, not just dumping it off underneath and seeing if they can run. But I could see where the value is, because it does work.
I don't like asking for predictions, but I do like asking our guests what are some of the questions they want to see answered on Sunday? Some of the things that Dan Marino's looking at in this game and going, I wonder how this is going to play out.
Let's see how San Francisco handles their offense, what they're going to do with it, as far as are they going to be very aggressive early on, or are they going to be more conservative? And I know they love running the football, but that's something I would like to see is, how they're going to handle, what they do offensively against Kansas City.
All right, as we let you go, what's tougher to decipher? A blitz that maybe you haven't seen previously against the team that you're playing, or trying to negotiate your way around Radio Row here with all these tables?
This is way harder. It's not even close.
I asked Andrew Whitworth the same question. He goes, you know what, at least I knew kind of what was coming. He goes, this is the unknown.
I know, it's
true.
true.
Dan, thanks so much for stopping by. Right. This was awesome.
Thanks,
and
guys.
Continued success.